World War II Germany. U.S. Army officers break through a castle wall and plunder a royal treasure, pulling off one of the greatest jewel heists of all time. In the waning days of World War II, General George S. Patton's 3rd U.S. Army rolled through central Germany and into Frankfurt. The city was in ruins. By contrast, Kronberg Castle remained untouched. Although it was just a few miles north of the city, it escaped the devastation of Allied bombers. U.S. Army officials were amazed by the opulence of the 19th century structure. They decided the 100-room castle would make an ideal officers' club. Weeks later, Germany surrendered. The war was over. Frankfurt became an occupied city. There was no power, no running water, no food, and barely any standing buildings. U.S. forces had to live in tents, eat K rations, and brave the elements. For the war-weary GIs, stepping into Kronberg Castle was like walking into an oasis of unimaginable luxury. The Army assigned Captain Kathleen Nash to manage the new officers' club. A 42-year-old divorcee, Nash was looking for adventure. She had lied about her age to enlist and became a mess officer. After years of training and service in the U.S., she was shipped overseas. Her new job was a good match. In civilian life, Kathleen Nash had been the assistant manager of the Phoenix Country Club. Now, thanks to the Army, she was running her own country club with the help of 30 German servants. The Army captain was now the queen of the castle. Days after the club opened, Nash became indignant when the officers started looting her castle. It was a practice all too common in wartime.
Looting of private property or of public property or any kind of looting was absolutely forbidden to the United States Army and to all armies. It is one of the basic rules of warfare that the property of private citizens is to be respected. But it was very hard to prevent people from, picking up what they call souvenirs or trophies of war.
To combat the problem, Nash stationed German servants at the front door as security guards.
Ein Moment. Warte.
A lieutenant who tried to liberate 3 antique rugs abandoned them before being caught. The rugs were returned to their rightful place. When Nash wasn't keeping tabs on the castle's precious antiques, she entertained the troops. She opened the vast wine cellar and threw elaborate parties for the officers. Her patrons were more than happy to trade an evening in a tent for a night in a castle. Major David Watson and Colonel Jack Durant were frequent visitors. Durant was a lawyer before the war. Now the vivacious Captain Nash helped him forget about his broken marriage back in the States. As their relationship grew, Nash remained devoted to her job. But running the officers' club was full of problems. After only a few months, thirsty GIs had drained all 1,800 bottles of wine. Captain Nash's club had run dry.
There's no wine here.
Okay.
While the captain was incensed at officers stealing her rugs, she thought nothing of emptying the wine stores. She sent servants and enlisted men to scour every inch of the castle for more wine. In the subcellar, Corporal Carlton noticed two strange wires leading into the bottom of a wall.
In the process of putting things away to protect it from battles and armies that might come through, people walled up things in all kinds of ways, and they did it in France, they did it in Italy, they did it everywhere just to protect it. And so the armed forces of every country got quite good at finding hiding places.
Behind the wall lay 1,600 bottles, including cases of fine French Bordeaux. The lowly corporal had no idea the wine was of an ancient vintage, worth an incomprehensible amount of money. All 1,600 bottles were appropriated. The club was back in business.
So anyway, what happened? I mean, your friend is...
The next morning, Carlton returned to the hidden room to investigate a patch of concrete that was lighter in color than the rest of the floor. He told Captain Nash it looked as if the concrete had been recently patched. She had one of the German servants chisel away the new concrete.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Behind locked doors, Nash and Carlton were amazed at what they had found.
Magnificent.
They're beautiful.
Captain Nash shared the discovery with Colonel Durant and Major Watson.
Oh, they're incredible.
They were astounded by the beauty of the jewels, as well as their value.
I wish we didn't have to give them back.
Well, to the victors go the spoils. Why should we?
The possibilities were intoxicating. Captain Kathleen Nash, Colonel Jack Durant, and Major David Watson marveled at the beauty of the cachet of jewels they had unearthed. For a moment, they contemplated taking just a few of the valuables. Then, they decided to take them all. As an attorney, Durant dismissed the risk. Only the Army could prosecute them for a crime committed on foreign soil. As for the German authorities, it would be years before their court system was operational.
Well, it's been a good night. We can make it better.
Nash was elated.
Well,
They would all return to the States in a few months with honorable discharges and a hoard of priceless jewels to finance their happiness.
She should, at that time, have reported the find to higher headquarters, because inventories had been made of the things in the castle, and so any new find was supposed to be reported to the monuments officers or the town major, as he was called, but she never did that, so that the Army authorities didn't know about this new find.
The conspirators had to figure out how to get the jewels back to the U.S. without getting caught. Since the pieces were so distinctive, they would be easier to move and to pawn if they were dismantled. At first, Nash and Durant used the Army's postal system to get much of their loot out of Germany. Durant sent packages to his brother in Virginia. Nash sent parcels to her sister in Wisconsin. But with each package, they risked customs inspections that could alert the Army to their crime. The group split up to minimize the risk. Major Watson gave his girlfriend in Ireland $2,500 worth of jewelry to safeguard until he was out of the service. He also fenced items, including a priceless Fabergé egg for about $430.
Very nice. Very nice. Where did you obtain
Durant and Nash did a little fencing of their
Oh, in
own
the casinos.
in Switzerland. They pawned enough jewels in Europe to indulge themselves in the most elegant Swiss hotels. Nash was finally living the adventure she dreamed of. She had every reason to believe the fairy tale would last forever. The most priceless of the stolen items still remained to be smuggled home to the U.S.
Music will come into play. Something I want to show you.
Durant took many of the valuable jewels and flew to England, where he met with his former secretary, Martha Orwig.
During the war.
Where did you get these, Jack?
Since she worked for the UN, she had diplomatic immunity. Her bags could not be searched.
I'd love to.
Durant asked her to ferry the jewels to the States for him.
A little something there for you as well.
Okay.
She agreed.
Sounds good.
Expect nothing from Jack.
On March 2nd, 1946, Captain Nash's tour of duty came to an end. After 8 months of service, she left the castle for good. Upon her arrival in the States, she would immediately apply for a discharge from the Army. Days later, Colonel Durant was sent to Washington, D.C. He had himself designated as an official courier, so his luggage would be exempt from inspection. The plan went off without a hitch. Durant returned to the U.S. with a bag full of jewels and his eye on a new car.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's me. I'll take it.
Good deal. Great. That's a good deal. Pleasure doing business. Pleasure doing business with you.
The former colonel paid the $1,400 list price in cash and headed for Chicago to meet Nash. There, the couple cashed in more of their take.
It's beautiful.
A jeweler agreed to buy 100 of the diamonds.
Yes.
The deal fell through when Durant couldn't produce a customs receipt.
So with the
Durant feared the jeweler might report him to customs, who might tip off the Army.
Thank you.
The couple had no idea that much worse trouble was brewing across the Atlantic. A colonel at the Army's Criminal Investigation Department in Frankfurt had a royal visitor, Princess Sophia of Hesse.
We think that our jewelry's been stolen from some of the
She was
servants.
about to
I
get
was
married,
actually
and she
trying to
wanted to
get
know
my
where her
mother.
jewels were.
I'm getting married, and it's gone.
She explained that the Hesse family lived in Kronberg Castle until the U.S. Army ordered them to leave. The Hesse family was part of the royal dynasty that had ruled the German Empire from the 12th century until the end of World War I. When Adolf Hitler came to power, they were ordered to keep a low profile, or else.
you can say that nearly all the noble families, especially in Prussia, were more or less enemies to the Nazi dictatorship.
Everything. I'm getting married.
Since the Nazis were known to appropriate valuables, the family inventoried their jewels and buried them in the castle.
When did you notice things start to be missing?
Immediately. It's been a long time.
But
I'm
now,
married.
those jewels were gone.
Jewelry is not there.
The colonel questioned the German servants who had worked at the castle. They revealed that the jewels were last seen in the possession of Captain Nash and Colonel Durant. He was stunned. 2 American Army officers had stolen the Hesse crown jewels.
Once it became a matter of a person in the Army stealing private property, whether it was from Germans or anybody else, then that was a criminal act because everyone in the Army knew under the rules of warfare that they were not allowed to steal things from the citizens of the country.
The colonel was concerned. Both Nash and Durant had already been discharged from the Army. As such, they no longer fell under military jurisdiction. But the investigator had a plan. All soldiers are bound by hip pocket orders. This means they can be recalled to active duty for a period of several months after discharge. If the colonel could recall them, he could prosecute. He'd have to work fast, though. That period was about to expire. If the couple could stay ahead of the Army until that deadline passed, they would get away with one of the greatest jewel heists of all time. Colonel Durant was unaware of the overseas investigation into the missing Hesse jewels. He had more immediate problems to worry about in the States. The U.S. Customs Service had seized the diamonds he tried to fence through a Chicago jeweler. Durant rushed to bury the remaining jewels along a Virginia road near his brother's home. Colonel Durant told his brother to watch over the buried gems. They were so valuable, he'd never have to work again. Confident their future was secure, Durant and Nash were married. They celebrated the small civil ceremony with a lavish honeymoon. Nash delighted in wearing many of the Hesse crown jewels for everyone to see. The Army moved their investigation to the U.S. to better track Nash and Durant. Investigators were concerned they had gotten married, so they couldn't testify against each other. After weeks of searching, the Army finally found the couple. They recalled Nash to duty with just 1 day to spare. Colonel Durant was also recalled. The couple hid out in Chicago, but investigators found them at a downtown hotel. Both were taken into custody. Captain Nash was given a polygraph, which she failed. She then confessed, implicating both her husband and Major Watson.
Wait, what?
She would later recant that confession.
We were tired, everyone.
Colonel Durant resisted for days. Finally, he agreed to cooperate by contacting his fences. They agreed to return the jewels, but only if they could do so anonymously. Durant later led investigators to a bus station locker. Inside, they found a small portion of the Hesse crown jewels. The items Durant buried along the Virginia roadside were recovered. The Army also seized valuables hidden at a Wisconsin house belonging to Captain Nash's sister. The theft of the Hesse crown jewels made news around the world.
Well, this, of course, was an extraordinary case for the press and everyone because it involved, people who were relations of the British royal family, Queen Victoria, a castle, a love affair, beautiful jewels. It was just made to order for a lot of publicity.
In Washington, MPs keep a careful eye on a fortune. $1.5 million worth of Hessian crown jewels and heirlooms stolen from Germany. This fabulous hoard comprises the greatest private military theft in U.S. history.
The Army flew the suspects back to Germany to stand trial. They charged Captain Nash, Colonel Durant, and Major Watson with theft. They would be tried separately. The royal family attended Captain Nash's trial in Germany. There they saw their family heirlooms displayed as evidence. Nash's defense did not bother to deny that she had stolen them. They contended that she was a civilian at the time of her arrest and that the Army therefore had no jurisdiction. The defense also pointed out that looting was common among troops. Nash said that if she were convicted, thousands of American servicemen would also have unclean hands. The court disagreed. Nash was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in a federal penitentiary. She was paroled in 1952. Major Watson was also found guilty. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The last court-martial was Colonel Durant's. In its opening argument, the prosecution cast doubt on Durant's motives for marrying Kathleen Nash. They argued that Durant married Nash to seal her lips. Colonel Durant was convicted and sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. His sentence was harshest because he was the highest-ranking officer involved in the theft. On August 1st, 1951, the Army finally returned the Hesse crown jewels. For the royal family, it was a bittersweet moment. Princess Sophia guessed that slightly more than half of the jewels were recovered. Their damaged condition made them worth just 1/10 of their original value. Jack Durant was released from prison in 1952. If there was any doubt about his motives for marriage, they were now erased. Jack and Kathleen Durant lived as husband and wife until Kathleen died in 1972. It was love after all.